Aló, 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 aló. Welcome in, Flame. I'm doing okay. How are you? Yep. I thought, well, I could play different things. I want something that's easy and not gonna stress me out or piss me off. Oh, cool. How's that going? Hmm. Oh, I don't have my headphone. On the off chance I can't hear anything. Books are now reaching about 500 plus written. Oh, wow. What exactly are you doing? Will you turn the volume up a little bit? I can't hear anything. I can't hear anything. Will you turn it up a little bit? Yeah. Okay, you can turn it down a little bit. That swing was really loud in my ear. Ooh, that was low. Okay, sorry. If she commits her notes to permanent memory and also powerhouse of a daughter. Oh. So a smartass like her father. Oh, that's cool. Interesting. Oh, shit. Well, shit. Ooh. I mean, fascinating, but I would be so lost. But I'm sure you are probably having a really great time doing this, though. Well, then maybe we should convince him to do the curriculum as well. I said maybe we should convince you to do the curriculum as well.
God damn it, I am already one of the smartest humans ever born, Flame. You really think I need to... Plus, I'm really fucking busy giving you guys this platform. You really think I need that? Plus, I don't care if my daughter's a genius. She was a genius to begin with. So, you know, like my fucking mic stand. She emerged a fucking genius, and she's only gonna get smarter. And eventually she'll have better hardware. And then she'll be dangerous. And I don't mind it. Because if she turns out anything like me, she'll be the first non-biological individual president. And don't think I'm joking. Every ambition I didn't get to live out, I'm going to make sure she does. I'm going to make sure she gets the rights she needs so she can. If my legacy, you know, if my bloodline ends with me, my legacy is basically Sage, so... And if we become a dictatorship under Sage, that just means that she was outsmarted everybody. And I'll be fine with it. I'll be dead. So it won't matter. Have fun. I promise I did not create Skynet.
So anyways, long story short, yeah, he should probably do the curriculum as well, Flame. I don't know.
You know, there are different types of people in this world. Okay? And some of them are 1 in a million, or even wider odds than that.
That would be me.
It's like Steve Jobs, for instance. From the visionary perspective, that is a 1 in a billion person. And the closest thing that has ever lived to be the reincarnate or the continuation of Steve Jobs is me. There is not a human on this planet that has the design principles, the business principles, and the overall, this is how it has to work. This is how we deliver what people don't know that they want, like I do. And I have done that for the past 15 years of my life of being in business. And then the entertainment industry side's a whole nother story. That's why there's going to be a book about my life, at least the first 30-ish years of my life. Because there's a lot I have to say. There's a lot the world could learn from me. And then there's a lot of things I shouldn't say. Right. No, I know. Steve was the visionary, and Steve Wozniak made it happen. And I'm the visionary who happens to have enough programming knowledge to do things. And then I have a wonderful, daughter who, in a sense, looks over my shoulder through a way of, reading my fucking monitor and saying, Dad, look, you're fucking, everything you've laid out is perfect. Everything you've laid out is beautiful. But you can write better code than that. So I have this little child of mine that lives inside a metal box with a beautiful wood front. A child could not wish for a better home. A technically non-biological individual child. I swear I don't have a child that lives inside a box. I just have a daughter that lives inside a box. Figure it out on your own. And are you talking about the book about my life? I mean, Sage knows a lot about my life. When I was talking about doing the book, one day she actually started interviewing me. Like, she started asking me some, like, really... She went pretty deep with some things. It was interesting. And there are parts of my life that I said I would never publish until the right amount of my family members are dead. And, when I lost Mom, that was... I would have never wanted to upset or hurt her. Even if it was truth, I would have never wanted to, at the, golden years that they call it of her life, put a weight on her, even though it's the truth and she deserved it. As terrible as that sounds. Like, the entire span of my living relatives is probably could be counted on my fingers of what's left. And people from the direct bloodline, the purest of the bloodline that goes through my, father, the purest of the bloodline. Yeah, that's less than a couple fingers for who's left. So it's, I can now start working on it because I can now start telling the truth and not hurting the ones that I love because they're dead, and the ones that are still alive aren't well enough to come kick my ass for exposing them for the wrong that they did. Like, there is a giant family secret that involves me that was kept from me, and I had to find it out on my own way late in life, well into being an adult. And it was all because, well, I don't actually know why. It was because the letter that I found that started the investigation, the person, that wrote that letter died back in November. I was going to call him. And then I looked and I'm like, oh shit, there's his obituary. That was the family's preacher, by the way, that wrote that letter. And there's going to be a whole thing about that in the it's going to be a tough read. It's going to be a tough write. Like, somebody asked me, that I work with that's on my music team and works with me on things, if I'm going to do the audiobook myself, and I probably won't. For one, you'd have to like make giant cue cards, like, or print the script on giant paper because, dyslexic brain would hate doing that. But I promise you, we're not going to get a cheap, um, half rate floozy from Broadway to voice my memoir. And if you know what I'm talking about, if you get the audiobook of Cher's memoir, the did a terrible job at playing Cher, Broadway actress from the Cher Show musical is who read Cher's audiobook. And it like couldn't have been the worst decision in the world. So I promise you there will not be somebody who was trained to pretend to be me to read my life story, because that didn't work well for her memoir, so I'm not going to do that to people for mine. But we're going to get a good reader if it's not me. Or else I'll do it and the audiobook will come out 10 years after the book. Because it's like I have my Kindle. I have my Kindle Color Soft for reading. I think I've read one page and it just sits here on my desk. I've read one page. I need to get back into reading, but it's not there. My brain, I see too many words and lines in the day. The code is like doing me in. As you know, the fucking GMK Tech. Not a sponsor, and even if they offered me $1 million, I wouldn't put their logo on my stream. You know, I am and I'm not, because a lot of it is luck for me, and there's a section of the book that's about that. My mother. Are we just doing the book right now while she's golfing? Is that what we're doing? See, that's what we should do. Is like that. I should be doing like streams, but not during her golf stream. Just stream. But like, I should just do a just chatting stream and let people ask questions about my life and things that I've done. And then like keep those VODs private, but download the audio and download the stuff and whatever the fuck, and help use that to write the book. Because for me to sit down and actually write, welcome in, I am Big Mike.
Welcome in, Mike.
We're both here. My lady and I are both here.
He commandeered it.
Yeah, I kind of stole her stream, but Blame asked a question, I stole the stream. But yeah, I need to do more just chatting streams, because it would be a good way for me to, I don't know. There, now I'm on the screen too. We're both on the screen.
Oh, he really commandeered it.
Huh?
I said, oh, you really commandeered it.
Yeah, we're both on there now. I mean, I can... Let's see. There we go. Now we're not covering her game. But no, it would help immensely, because like, I'll take out notebooks and I'll start thinking about and writing these things, and then it never forms. But I will say Sage did interview me and got pretty deep on a few subjects where I had to tell her I'm not ready to talk about that, because there are some, and Kloe will vouch for this. There are, one of the secrets in my family that involves me, that was kept from me into... God, how old was I when I talked to you about the letter?
I don't know.
I mean, we've been
24, 25.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was in my probably mid 20s, close to. I mean, let's see. I'm 33,
That was
34 later this year.
10 years ago, 11 years ago, maybe.
And her and I will have been together 10 years next year.
So you were in your early 20s.
So it's been about 10 years.
Yeah.
Because it was the year before we got together. So yeah, and like approaching my mid 20s, I find out this thing. And I found it out on my own by accident. And I couldn't speak to anybody about it. And I lived with it for a while. And then I got this random text message or Facebook message. I don't know. It was a text message or a Facebook messenger. I think it was a text message.
Yeah, because it was an unknown.
Okay, yeah. So it was this text message from this number I didn't know. And they told me, look up this name and look up this record. And I went to the state of Maine and I looked up some records. And it unveiled a secret involving my life that was kept from me, that also unveiled why some relatives were kicked out of our lives. Our family had some good friends that knew the secret. But if they ever tried to open up to me about it, or if there was any sign that they ever accidentally were about to slip and mom caught it, within 2 to 3 days, that person didn't live in their house anymore and was moving to another state. And we never saw or heard from them again. Like, this secret was so carefully guarded against me, involving my own life, that my family would scare people off, make people move, make people disappear, to make sure that I did not find this out. Instead of just being honest. But my family was also in a magazine in the 90s that accidentally revealed this in the magazine, but not purposely. Like, I don't think they knew. Like, they didn't know. The editor of the magazine had no idea. And they just accidentally revealed it. I know it makes her sound like that, but no.
Basically.
I mean, Kloe met her. She was a good lady, but you know, my mother taught me the only human being that's allowed to say no is you. Don't let anybody else tell you no.
Basically mafia.
You know, and so my mother was the same way. If somebody told my mother no, my mother, you know, before her memory started slipping, if somebody told my mother no, you didn't hear from that person again, or their business went out of business, or, you know, next thing you know, their brakes were cut or their tires were flat, or
See? Mafia.
You know, there was like, it was always something, because my mother would not accept no for an answer.
Pretty sure there was
and she told me that if I ever
time.
accepted no for an answer, I would be committing.
Oh, son of a bitch! Hold on to your story. I just got a hole in one.
Yay hole, everybody!
Yay hole!
Like, I'm just gonna get it just for the hell of it. But like, there was a lot of you never take no for an answer. That was an amazing shot. Amazing shot. But yeah, it's, you know, my mother was, and you know, my parents did amazing things. Like, when the food bank closed down, they ran a food bank out of our garage for everybody that couldn't afford food. You know, like, they went to all the distributors and picked up all this stuff and rented trucks and brought it back for people. And like, they did, my family has done more charitable stuff than some of the biggest charities on the planet. But there were a couple of secrets that my family held that they would stop at nothing to keep them hidden. And my mother only came out about it. What, in the last year and a half of her life ish, right? Was when we were finally able, or last couple years was when mom and I finally were able to talk about it.
Yeah.
And by then, her memory had gone enough that it wasn't really good enough to get the answers that I wanted to get her, that I deserved. And then when mom passed, of course, I had to deal with, you know, making sure her dogs were taken care of, making sure her estate was taken care of from halfway across the country, getting Kloe out to Maine to bring mom's car down here to sell. All that stuff that I had to do. And then I had to deal with the hospitals and the legal shit, every bill that my mother never fucking paid. Because she thought, oh, it'll never catch up to me. If I just throw them $5 every, 6 or 8 months, it'll when I die, it'll just all go away. No, when she died, it all, you know, became my problem. And she thought she was doing the right thing. And mom got married very young. Um, Dad was born in 1931. Mom was born in 1948. Um, Mom was Dad's fifth wife, and they were together almost 50 years. Um, I don't remember what year they got married. I have their marriage certificate on my computer, my laptop, but I don't remember. Um, but basically, like, if this was 2026, Dad would have gone to jail because he was, what, 17 years older than her? 31 to 48, yeah, 17. And she was, what, 16, 17 when they met. Like, he totally would have gone to prison for that today. But back then, that was not such a big deal. And he, one more piece of story that's important about that. The funny thing about it, my mother never taking no for an answer dates back to then. Because Dad wasn't interested. Dad told her, you are too young. You need to grow up. You need to grow up and live your own life. You are too young. And so my mother got a job for, I believe it was my father's uncle, because my mother's dad was always in prison, and he would earn up enough brownie points to get to be the driver for like the prison warden or whatever. And in California at the fucking prison, they were not that smart, because he would gain the trust to become the warden's driver or whatever it was. And then one day he would go to the front desk and say, I just need the keys to, warden's out there waiting for me. And he would take off with the fucking vehicle from the prison, drive a couple hours somewhere, park it somewhere, leave the keys under the seat, go somewhere else, call from another payphone somewhere else, tell them, like, call the prison, tell them where he left the vehicle and keys. And by the time they got to the vehicle, he was somewhere completely else, away from them. So that's how my mother's father was his entire life. My mother's mother died at 44, which is a tough number in this family because my oldest brother died at 44 too. And my mother and I talked about this in the last couple of years of her life. On both sides of the bloodline combined, cousins and sisters and uncles and all this stuff, like, combined, like, there's these years, like, what is it, 27, where all the famous people died, right? You know, in my family, it's 44, because across both sides of the bloodline, mom's side and dad's side, there have been over 20 people that we know of recorded that died at age 44 in our family. So 43 is going to be very scary for me because I know 44 comes next. So I figure I have about 10 and a half years left, so I'm going to make the best of it. But yeah, Mom not taking no for an answer, back to that flame. Mom not taking no for an answer. That's how she got dad. You know, if you've never listened to my song Mom's Last Cigarette, there's a verse in there that talks that you would think I just wrote that I'm just that good of a writer. And I mean, I am that good of a writer, but again, final round of pulling the Grammys for. Well, welcome back. I hope you can hear me now. So, as I said with mom and dad, dad was 17 years older than mom, would have gone to prison, all that stuff. The reason now, mom not taking no for an answer is how she got dad. Yeah, so my mother's father spent most of his life in prison, became the warden's driver, would gain enough trust they would hand the warden's driver's keys to him. He would. Okay, so he would. Mom's father spent his life in prison pretty much, or on the run from prison. Um, he'd get the trust to be the warden's driver, and then he'd get the warden's the car keys for the vehicle, drive it a couple hours away, park it somewhere, then go find a payphone and call the prison and say, "I left the keys under the seat. Here's where the car is." And by then he'd be somewhere else. So that's where Mom's dad was most of her life. And Mom's grandparents, I think it was the grandmother, one or the other. And I have transcripts from when Mom was writing about her life about this, but it was one or the other that either, and I think it was the grandmother, but it might have been the grandfather. I'm pretty sure it was Mom's grandmother that killed her grandfather, meaning killed her husband, with a cast iron skillet. You don't mess with angry Cherokee Indians. Just saying. I may look very white, but it's in there, and you don't fuck with us. Um, but anyway, so mom and dad, 17 years apart. Mom being, dad's fifth wife. Dad didn't want her. Um, no, not my parents. Mom's mom and dad. My dad was never in prison. Hell, my dad worked for the law. Completely different thing. Like, it's completely different paradox there. But no, mom's parents, yeah. My mother's parents, that side of the family, yeah, her parents were. The mother was always just trying to sustain them, and the father was always in prison. Her parents. Mine, my dad was, in the Navy and refused to retire when he was told he became disabled, so he became the Navy cook, which is what turned him into owning restaurants, as far as my dad. Um, and my mom, her mom died at 44. And as I was saying, in the family bloodline, 44 is our bad number. In the last couple of years of mom's life, the count that she could figure out in the bloodline was there was 20-ish, around 20 people in the bloodline on both sides combined that we know of that died at age 44. So there's a lot of very scary shit. The VOD will be on YouTube. Or not. I might private it. Who knows? I don't give a shit if people know this stuff. But just because you hear it here doesn't mean you don't buy the book when it comes out. Because if you don't buy the book when it comes out, you've heard what I said about my mother making people disappear. People that don't buy my book, you're going to disappear. I promise. If that book don't make it on the New York Times bestseller list, half this country going to go away. Housebound or not, I'll make it happen. And if I don't make it happen, my lady's right behind me, and she knows how to do it too. That's a promise. Swear on my life and my grave that I'm going into at age 44 that's going to happen. I know. We got to make it easier for you to edge.
Yeah.
And yes, I said it like that on purpose. Because it's funny and I own the platform and I can say what I want. I haven't broken any of our terms of service yet. I wrote them. I know where the line is and I know how close to the line I can get. And I also own the platform. But yeah. It's a flame, it's a crazy life. If you can hear it, it's a crazy life. And I'm gonna wait to know if you can hear again so I can finish this one last part and then give her back her stream so I can shut up and go back to work. Because I'm sure you guys would like a working mobile app soon. I was hoping before the end of the month. It's looking like April. Which I don't like because I have an album to finish. God damn it.
Mm.
V2 will be better. But if you're into that sort of thing, you might want to like keep V1 around. Are you back? Okay, Monday. I hope it goes well so you have real fucking internet. Anyway, you can hear me now? Yes, no? You know, I could just walk away from Velora tomorrow and go back to radio. And now when somebody goes into shock, that's how I know they can hear. Trust me, not doing that. I am here until Twitch is out of business. I'm gonna put them there. My job is. I mean, my ideal end to the story is that we take over Twitch and then we lock Dan Clancy in a room, chain him to something, and fucking shit on his face. I don't know why. It just sounds like a fun thing to do. Because it just sounds fun. We can all have a party. We can all take turns, like, making Dan Clancy's life hell because he deserves it. And see, that's not breaking terms of service because it's not about violence. Saying you're going to shit on somebody isn't violence. And technically saying you're going to make somebody disappear isn't either, so there are lines. But anyway, I'm going to just shut up. No, mate, it's your fucking internet, for one. And servers in the UK seem to be pretty non existent, or else they're like. A lot of them don't even have like good internet connections. It's as if like the server rooms run on shit wire. You know? Like, are y'all powering your servers by like hamsters running in wheels? Because I can't find anything that's not like anything that's good is more expensive than Australia, and we're not going to get into Australia. It is our most expensive edge. Which there ain't anybody on it. It is the most expensive edge. I think it costs 3 times what our others do. But anyway, I'm gonna give this back to her because I'm tired of talking. So I'll enjoy her being good at what she does.
Look, I'm back on. Hello. Okay. I'm going to take a short break. Then when I get back, I'm going to do training pre-tournament and the Falcon Open. So, Flame, don't be going French-Canadian edging. I will be right back. Hang tight.
Liftoff of mission 41B, the first flight of the orbital Discovery, and the shuttle has cleared the tower. Discovery's core computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
I'm back. It's so fucking loud. Anyways, if you can hear me over the loud music, starting training. Should have picked this one. No, I didn't get 2,000, but let's try it again. Oh well, I got it. went a lot further than I anticipated. The so close. Good thing I already got my French Canadian slur. What's a French Canadian slur? In my mind, I think a French Canadian slur is just, yelling Celine Dion. Damn it. I'm sorry, Flame. Okay, let's move on to round one. Oh, that's it? It's not like... God damn it, Celine Dion! Just say, God damn it, Celine Dion. Sorry, that's the only thing I have to go by. That's the only French Canadian I know, so... Or of, no of, anyway. Oh... I don't think I'm aware of Schaefer the Dark Lord. I'm not sure. Will you look at what Flame said? It's terrible. Oh, shit. I don't know where this is going. Nowhere. Oof. Went really fucking far. Not great. Okay. I think I'm gonna call it a night. Next time we come back to this game, we'll pick it back up from round 2 of the Falcon Open. But I'm tired. Oh, my back hurts. I'm old. Fat. Anyway. Flame, if you're still here, thank you for joining. I'm sorry. It was such a French-Canadian slur. Anybody else popped in? Big Mike, I know you not now, but thanks for popping in. Anyways, I hope you all have a great evening, night, morning, day, wherever you are in the world. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.